From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
It is Monday, the 25th day of June, 2012. I am your host, Alex Jones, and these are certainly perilous times that we are in. It is the best of times and the worst of times. There are parallel forces going throughout history and society, the forces of good and enlightenment and honor and compassion and beauty and duty and everything that is a blessing. And there are the competing forces of envy, hatred, destruction, death, pain, humiliation, ugliness, and those that love darkness, those that are attracted to its dark light and who kneel before it and worship at its wicked flame, because deep down they're afraid of it, so they try to join with it, or they're seeking after power. There are those parallel forces. So it's not just the evil New World Order out there and all their minions and all their mercenaries and all their different classes and brigades of different miscreants that serve darkness for different reasons. There are those of us who have the force of good, the force of moral authority on our side. It has been said throughout history, if God be with us, who can be against us? Even if you don't believe in God, the first thing the globalists want you to do is not believe in God. Or if you do, believe one of their plastic, paid-for, FEMA-funded clergy response team preachers that says submit to tyranny, be a slave to government. That's taught from pulpits nationwide. It's a federally globalist-written sermon. And you see this idea of Obi-Wan is here and the Force is with him. People say, oh, you're talking about the force of good or having justice on your side, or the universe bends towards justice, as many philosophers have said. People say, oh, well, that's just a movie. Well, yes, that's a movie imitating life, not us imitating a movie. But it's not some magical force where you're lifting rocks and things or choking someone. It's the moral force of having right on your side. George Washington called it providence. And it's at times like these that we need to understand we're not alone. And providence is on our side. For whatever reason, when you're doing the right thing and you get past the fear and you stand up against evil, amazing things happen. The system is scared of you. These banksters have overreached with all their social engineering, all their propaganda, all their weapons. They still have to work through, in their view, imperfect vessels. They have to work through police and military and bureaucrats who are not completely evil or not completely turned over to the New World Order or not completely ignorant of what's happening. That's why the system wants to go to a cashless society with robot drones, robot ground forces, UGVs. MIT, the Pentagon say, show that the orders of the controllers, who are illegitimate hijackers, cannot be ignored. The troops en masse have refused the anthrax shots in 2 different rounds, the smallpox shots in 2 different rounds, because they start shooting them up and they start dying. The police have refused unlawful orders we later learned in Katrina, and the military. Large groups of them refused to confiscate guns. Large groups actually said yes as well. But there were entire units and entire sections that said no. You're never going to hear about that, though. That's why it takes years till we learn about it. There is a battle going on every day versus darkness and light. What does light do? It brings understanding. It brings discernment. It brings clarity. Darkness is confusion, stumbling. You know, your house during the day is a safe place to be. You ever gotten up half awake to go to the bathroom and go get a glass of water, and you go and you stumble over your children's Tonka truck, or you stumble over a chair and almost break your neck? I know that's happened to me. That's the difference between the light and the dark. And those of us that sit here and have more light than others, those that have had more discernment or more research or had parents or mentors that warned us and schooled us early on, we look at people that aren't aware of all this and we're like, you're morons, you're sheeple, you're idiots, because they're in darkness. They're victims, most of them. They're compartmentalized. That's what compartmentalization is. It is darkness. It is darkness, but even in the darkness, as the great culling, as the great evil of world government designed to shut off the resources and reorganize society during the crisis, as this great orgy of death and pain and humiliation and war and pestilence approaches, everybody can feel it in their gut and see it intellectually. As it approaches, the system is having to decloak. And so even though people are in a trance-like, dumbed-down state, now they can see it, because even if they are in the dark, they can feel it grabbing them in the dark. They can smell it, and it doesn't smell good. Oh, we're in darkness, but people can feel it in their gut, and they can smell it. If the globalists convert to this pure world government, hell is going to be released. You need to understand that. They're not in full control yet. They're far from it. And they have committed themselves and the world into incredible crises in an all-or-nothing, chips on the table, all-in commitment. Evil is committed. And what is the goal of the New World Order? They tell their minions 90% kill. That's a deception. The goal of this system, boy, it makes me believe my Bible. Not the one the preachers teach, but the one I've read, the King James. What's the devil want to do? Kill, steal, destroy. Know a tree by its fruits. And I don't mean to preach here, folks, but this is the world we're entering right now. And you better get right with God. And you better, boy, I got newscasts coming up where they are endorsing troops on the streets to fight crime. First, it's a drill. Now, oh, it's good to have them here in St. Louis. Hundreds of giant armored vehicles in the neighborhoods. Hundreds. To quote, and we had police calling yesterday. One of them broke down crying saying, yeah, they say it's for the American people during martial law. And I said, who? He goes, the militia. That's what, that's people that are awake to the takeover. We're the Americans that know we got captured by foreign banks. We're aware of what happened. We've got not even the courage, but we're good people, so we must oppose it. It's not courage. I don't even believe in courage. It's either you're going to stand against evil or you're not. It's not a question. There is no fear. The only fear is letting this thing take place, letting this thing win. A lot of you have decided to go ahead and join the side of evil. I know a lot of military and a lot of police, a lot of bureaucrats, a lot of corporate people think you're on the winning team and kind of get off on it and think evil's kind of sexy and, hey, you're part of something big. You're going to be destroyed. You statistically, historically, but it's also a spiritual law, are in a far worse position than anyone when we go through these scenarios. So I wouldn't want to be you. You think it's all fun to be corrupt right now and you're getting fat off of it financially and your ego's getting fat off of it? That's a hog getting fattened up for slaughter, because you're entering the season now, the season of the feast of evil. And let me tell you, it's 262 million non-military combatants that government killed last century, and all of that was nothing but a test. We stand at the absolute precipice right now. All of the evil, you've had plenty of chances to hear about it. You've had plenty of chances to be warned. Historically, that's a universal law as well, that you're going to be warned. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times. You're going to be warned over and over and over and over and over again. And then when the hammer drops, there is no mercy. You need to understand that. You can call it what you want. Karma, reap what you sow, whatever. Every culture knows. And that's what it is to be God-fearing. Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Fear nothing else. In fact, the only fear I do, I can feel God. I can feel ashamed of my works as dirty rags. And I look at these haughty, full of themselves people out there who have no idea what they're part of, have no idea what this planet is, a giant testing ground for our spirits. That's what it is. Look at the fantasticness all around you. What do you think this is? This is a test. You shouldn't be worried about getting arrested and tortured and killed. You shouldn't be worried. You should be worried before all this starts that you're not out there warning as many people as you can right now about what's coming down the road. Because let me tell you, once they drop the hammer, ladies and gentlemen, and once the night really falls, we ain't seen nothing yet. Now, The articles are all at Infowars.com. I'm going to